Skilsaw 77, baby. That's what I'm going to use. This is not for youngsters. If you have not used one of these, be very careful when using this. It'll cut your hand off in a minute if you let it. Okay. Now, I'm going to get up there and I'm going to cut that. And I only have to cut 1.5 inches. Okay. So I'm going to adjust this blade, and before I do that, I'm going to unplug it. Did you catch that, camera one?
Yes, I did.
Unplug that, and now I can adjust this fence, because normally I have not adjusted it yet. Okay, I got 2 3/8 of an inch. I only need 1.5 inches. I don't want to go too far, because if I go down too far and if I miss exactly, and you drive that in, you're gonna shave off a little bit of that truss, right? So I've got the adjustment right here. That's for the fence there. Okay. You don't want to do this plugged in case you happen to hit something or whatever. Now, and I'm just gonna make that a little bit more than 1.5 inches. You know, I got about 1 3/4 inches. That's good. Okay. Now I'm gonna lock that down. Just kind of check that. Okay. Now if I miss a little bit, I don't dig down as far. Okay. All right. Now I'm setting this down very carefully. You don't want to bend that and all that. Okay. That's another video entirely on how to use a skill saw safely and properly and all that. Okay. And in fact, since I'm up there, this cord is going to dangle. Okay. So I'm just going to lock it together. Like so. I can't believe I got my boots on with short pants. Hey, only in Hawaii. Okay. All right. Now as I go up there, this is not going to fall. Yeah, I got to be real careful, because I wish this ladder was a little bit taller. So, is this going to be the safest thing known to man? Probably not. But you know, I'm going to take a stab at it and see if I can't do it here. Yeah, see, now I'm teaching to stand on top of the ladder. You shouldn't be standing on top of the ladder like this.
Nope.
Okay. Before I go any further, I'm just going to get this piece out of my way. The neighbors don't mind us making a little noise, Cynthia.
No, no problem.
Okay. I might, you know, save pieces of wood if that's kind of what you do, because you never know. Boy, what do you need a little 2x4 somewhere for a piece of backing or something? Although this one is probably hard as a rock, because it's probably at least 15 years old. Okay, so looks like I left it just a little bit, so I'm going to cut it again. I'm going to cut this one over here. Actually, I'm not going to go this way because I can't really see what I'm doing. I could cut it and guess and all that, but I'm going to turn around the other way.
Good, we can see you better that way.
Because I'm right-handed, I can see the blade better. I'm going to be careful with this. You know, could I have cut it that way? Yeah, I probably could have. I probably could have if I needed to. Okay. Well, I'll have to move this back here. I'll probably have to move it back further, but I got to reach the skill saw first. Yeah. You know, they tell you not to stand on the second to the last rung or the top, but I mean, how do you get anything done? I'd have to have an 8-foot ladder to go up 6 feet. I don't want to teach you any bad things here. Just be careful when you're on a ladder. How about that? Now when I cut, I'm going to hold this up here, probably Yeah, I got all kinds of stuff in my way over here. I don't know if I can do this, Cynthia. Oh, yeah, here we go. I got it up at an angle. I might have to, well, let's see what happens.
Careful.
Just be careful.
Be careful.
Yes.
Shazam.
Kaboom. Beautiful.
Ooh.
Now, do I have to tell you a trick? I've seen guys, they'll be on a ladder and they hang on to this and go down. You pull this out and you loosen that up, and that's not good, okay? So because I'm right here, I'm going to show you a little trick. You want to know a trick, Cynthia?
Yes.
Okay, you take the cord here, you slide it through the arm, right here. I could walk down, but I'm showing you in case you're way up high and you don't have to get down yet, okay? Or if you're up on a ladder, on a roof or something. Okay, look at that. I locked it.
Wow.
All right, just
Nice.
overlapped it there. Now I can gently lower this down, and I've got the weight off of the cord, off the end. You know, that goes into the extension, or into the skill saw. You see that? It's still probably not the best thing, but that's a way better way to do it. Or if you're close on the ladder, just carry it on down. That's all I got to say about that. Hey, this is pretty good. What is this, Cynthia?
H2O.
Oh, it's water.
Water.
And you know what? You got to hydrate yourself when you're working. The best way to hydrate yourself is good old-fashioned water. All right? Not those diet sodas. Those are nasty, I've heard.
Yeah.
I've heard they have aspartame and all that stuff, you know. If you've been watching my channel, you know I love Diet Cokes. All right? I'm trying to wean myself off of them, and check it out. I got the water going on.
Check it out, yeah. Check it out. Check
All right, so we got that now. Keep it running. Got to get my nail bag back on here. And you know, I got this this belt on too, and I like using that before I put my nail bag on. Right, let's get that on. It's got an exact spot where it goes. You know, if it's tighter or looser or whatever. And I feel like I'm ready to go. I got my gloves, and this time I got this little square. I'm gonna use this square. That's what that's called. Put that back in there. Now, if you don't have a square like that, you could use a square like this. Okay, that's a square too. I can't really carry that in my nail bag though, can I? But if you have just a square like that, you could use that. Okay, because I got to get back up there. What's our next step? If you've been following along, I think you know what the next step is. I've got to put a 2x4 up at that end, don't I? That 2x4 is not really going to hold any weight, believe it or not, of the ladder, access ladder. I could put the access ladder up there and just leave that. Basically, once I put that 2x4 across there, I'm going to be able to re-secure this sheetrock on here. Plus, you're going to have to put trim around this opening too when you get all done. I'm not going to show you how to do that. I'm going to let you figure one of these steps out on your own, I think. Oh, look at that. No screw popped out, but that's going to be covered. That's going to be covered with trim. The only way to attach a trim is you got to nail it on. How are you going to nail this trim on if you don't get that 2x4 up there? Okay. So I'm going to take my square, a nice little construction pencil here. I just use my square up here to mark that. Okay. I know what side.
Let me see that again.
I know what side the 2x4 is going to go on. I just set that on there like that. Okay, I'm going to take this here.
There.
And mark that. And I know the 2x4 goes to the right, so I put an X on the right hand side. No, really, I shouldn't have to do that because you should know exactly where it goes, right? Okay, so now I'm going to just take my square. I could put it from the top up or I could put it from the bottom up. You know, just like that. Run it up against the sheetrock, mark that. It'll just kind of help you once you get your 2x4 up there. Last thing you want is for it to be really super crooked. Okay? And am I going to use that old 2x4? Remember I took the old 2x4 off. Remember it was right here. That's the one I knocked out of there. Well, this thing is 15 years old or more, however old the house is, okay? And if I put that back up there, this is probably hard as a rock. You're gonna bend your nails in this, okay? I'm not even gonna try to use this. But if you didn't have any other 2x4s, you could probably use it, right? Okay, so I'm gonna measure this. I should have 20, 22 and a half. And I got a short 22 and a half. But I want the opening 22 and a half because I want to make sure I have enough room for shimming ability and stuff. Okay, so what am I gonna do? I'm gonna cut a 2x4. That's gonna be 22 and a half. I measure this one, and that's 22 and a half. And I went to the store and I got a 2x4, incidentally. And did I need a truck to carry the 8-foot 2x4 home? No. Here's my 2x4. Okay? Now here's the rest of my 8-foot 2x4. Alright? I did a little bit of figuring before I got done at the store. And I know I'm going to have to use these two 2x4s right here on both ends. And I'll show you that later. And that's going to hold up the weight of the access ladder as I get it up in there. Okay, so I needed those. So I got an 8-footer. And most hardware stores will cut your wood. Okay, so I cut a piece that's 2 feet. Well, I know I don't need 2 feet, do I? In fact, you cut at 23 3/4. That's another tip. You want something cut exact. Don't have the hardware store cut it. Because if they do, and if they're off, it's on you, not on them. They're cutting it for a favor for you. Okay? Now, I'm gonna use this. I see that there's a crack on this end, and I'm not sure which end they cut. I'm pretty sure they cut this end, but I'm gonna just check this with my square. Okay, that looks pretty close. Alright, so I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna use that side. I'm gonna tape measure what I want, 22 and a half. Okay, so I'm gonna hold that there. And I come down. Are you with me, camera woman?
Mm-hmm. I am. Right on.
I'm gonna hold my tape measure in the middle. Okay. Now, because I got a square, I can just mark one. Okay. But I can mark on both sides of it like that, if I want, and not use a square. Okay. I can just eyeball that and cut it. How am I gonna cut that with a skill saw this way? I'm gonna flip it around. I always flip it around on the left, and I cut from the right. And people laugh at me when I use my foot. That's how all professionals cut. Alright? They cut using their foot, and you just have to kind of be aware of what you're doing. You know, you're gonna have to do some practice and all that. And what I forgot is I got sensitive ears, and even if you don't have sensitive ears, you can use some little ear plugs. Mm-hmm. I've got some ear plugs here, and I've used these forever. These are plastic. Some of them are kind of like little foam ones. Obviously, if they were foam, I wouldn't save them as long. I probably should wash these every once in a while. You know what I mean? Okay. I don't necessarily have to use gloves, but because I've been using them all along, my gloves back on. Okay, now if I needed to do a mark, I'm not going to mark that one, all right? But I'm just going to show you, if you mark something, you want 16 inches or something, let's just say 16, you can do one mark there, put your tape measure away, get your square out, hold it up there, mark it, kaboom. That's how it's done. Okay, I'm just going to cut this. I'm going to keep my foot out of the way and line it up. To it.
Pretty cool.
Okay, 22 and a half. Now, I could have that all the way now. Okay, I don't have to keep it at 1 3/4. Okay. Now, I can put that up there, and I've got the marks. I'm going to tap that in there where it goes, and I know whether or not it's straight. And let's see where that got most of the crack off of there. Okay, and I can put that in at a slight angle, and I tap it in. It's going to kind of wedge this out a little bit because it was just shy of 22 and a half. Okay?
Stable. Nice and stable.
It's not shy of 22 and a half now, is it? It's right on. See, I got a pencil mark up there, and I know exactly where where it's supposed to go. I'm going to tap it until I hit the pencil mark. Tap that down a little bit. Incidentally, when you work with new 2x4s, these old ones shrink. Okay. If I put my tape measure on here, this is less than 3.5 inches now. This one, in fact, is man, it's 3 5/16. It's supposed to be 3.5, and that's why this sticks up a little bit, because this is brand new. It's got moisture in it. It's got water in it. When it dries, it shrinks. Okay? I'm not too concerned about that because I don't care about the top, do I? If this was new construction, you had sheetrock up there or something, then you may have to split the difference, or you may have to even trim that off or something. You know? Okay, so now if you got some nails, go ahead and nail that in from the back side. If you don't have any nails, you can put this in with screws if you want. This is just a piece of backing. It's not holding anything. We don't have to put a joist hanger on there, a full-size joist hanger or a joist hanger clip or anything like that, because all this is for is to hold, is to attach the sheetrock to, and also to trim. Alright, this end piece now. Okay, I don't have any nails, so I always carry around some sheetrock screws. And I've got 2-inch, I also have 2.5. And I think I'm going to go with some 2.5s, and I'm just going to angle them in there. And I'm going to put my drill on low, and I've got it right here. You see this right here? It's got numbers on it. You can turn that. If you think, what's that for? That tightens the chuck on how tight you want to go. Here's 24, and there's a line there. That means you're screwing, and that's as tight as it's going to go. Okay? So I usually put it in between 20 and 24 somewhere. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and just angle those screws up in there. And that's how I'm going to do it. I don't need to go any further than that. If that was holding weight, like I said, you have to put a joist hanger, you might have to put a double one and all that. But we're not, that's something different. We're not heading off anything for a roof or ceiling or anything. Alright? So I'm just going to set them in here and angle them in. I got it on low. Still on my line, 2.5 inch, and these are drywall or sheetrock screws, and they're rough or they're coarse threads. You can get coarse or fine. You want coarse for wood because they're bigger threads.
Ooh.
That's all we're gonna do. Easy greasy. Ooh. Woo. Look here. Okay. I know I'm in the right spot. I measured it before. I'm good. You keep it on low, and this sucker will dry just about anything. You know, can I get away with just 2 on both sides? Probably. I'm gonna try 1 on the back side, just to see. Can't really see what I'm doing though. Oh.
Move your ladder.
Come on. There it goes. Okay. Do I really have to do one over here too, Cynthia?
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know.
What would you do?
Here, I'll do it.
Okay, good.
with my left hand. Whoa. Must have stripped the head off. No, that's fine. Okay, there it is.
Applause.
Now, you know, could I hang off this? Let's see if I can hang off this. Should I, Cynthia?
No.
3 screws on both sides. Here we go.
Oh, just a second. Oh, very good. Pull-ups. Ooh.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
If that will hold me, man,
Whew.
I need to work out. One, pull up. How lame. Although I do have a 25-pound nail bag on. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, there's that.
So we're gonna
Now.
zone in on those.
Now what?
Just
I'm gonna go ahead and put a few sheetrock screws in the sheetrock.
First, I'm gonna show 'em where the nails were.
Okay. Go ahead
Okay.
and show them that. I'm gonna grab
On
my,
the left, and then
other.
there, right in the corner there.
I'm gonna grab
Straight
my
ahead.
sheetrock screws. I got 1.25 inch.
Okay, here we go.
1.25 inch screws. So anything along the edge. I'm gonna take my gloves off. I don't need those on for this. Okay, I always carry like 1.25 inch, 1.5 2 inch, 2.5, and also 3 inch sheetrock screws. I never know when I'm gonna need something like that. Last thing I want to do is go to the store in the middle of the night. Right now, if I want to go to the store, is any store open, Cynthia?
No.
It's not. Okay? I'm just gonna make those flush. You don't have to sink those. Okay, just make them flush. Because the trim's going to cover that up, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's right. You break the sheetrock paper and you ruin the integrity of the sheetrock when you do that. That's why if these were in the field and you were going to put tape over them, you can't put them in with a drill like this. You got to have a different type of drill. That's another video altogether, right? Mm-hmm. We're not going to do that now. Now along this edge, this was already tight, but I'm not sure about that end. I think that end was pretty tight too. I'm gonna check it anyways, just to see. 'Cause if it needs 1 or 2 screws, it's gonna put them in. Yeah, see? See that?
Mm-hmm.
No sheetrock screws there. They didn't have any from before. I don't quite understand why they wouldn't have done that.
Good thing you're here.
That was right where that corner bead was too. I mean, is it going to be like the house is going to fall down if these 3 sheetrock screws aren't in here? No. Because technically, if you put your trim on there, that's going to cut. The trim's going to cover that. Okay. Mm-hmm. But when you nail your trim on there, your trim's going to have nails on it, and then that would go through the sheetrock up into the 2x4. Technically, you probably could get by without doing those, but I like to make things right.
Perfect.
I'm getting ready for the next phase. The next step is I'm going to bring the ladder assembly in here. It's kind of dark outside. I want you guys to see this. I want you in particular to see this. But clean up your mess as you go. Then you don't have to track this in all over the place. And it's safer. You're not tripping over it, you're not stepping over it, bending your ankle, or anything like that. Okay, so we're just going to take a few minutes and clean this up. Get ready for the next step.